Hey, I want to welcome you to the Offline Podcast with John Jackson. Hey, show us some love by hitting that like button. But we also want you to subscribe to our team. And don't forget to hit that alert button so you get the alerts when the new podcast comes on. Also, we love questions and comments, so go to the offlinepodcast.com. So today is a new podcast, and I'm excited about this because we always talk about sports on this podcast, but we might talk about a couple different things. This guy grew up in Cleveland. He graduated from Howard, and believe it or not, he went to the University of Cincinnati College of Law. And now he's a part-time professor at the University of Georgia, but I think his main job is a sports writer for the Atlanta Falcons beat. And he works for the Atlanta Journal Constitution. I got to make sure I get that right. He probably speaks better English than I do, but I know damn well he writes better than I do. So I want to welcome Darryl Ledbetter. Darryl, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Hey, John, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, and thanks for that great introduction.
Yeah, I kind of screwed up on that Atlanta Journal Constitution, but I had to make sure I got that right.
That's okay.
So tell me, Darryl, what's going on in your world right now with football? I know that actually, let's take that back. So tell me, how did you get into sports writing and being a beat writer?
Well,
I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I delivered the newspaper as a young boy and would get up and read the sports section before I would deliver my paper out. So in school, I got involved at the student newspaper in junior high school, and then in college, I was editor-in-chief of the Hilltop at Howard. And, job offers started coming in. I started in Charlotte as a high school reporter and moved to Cincinnati. Went to the Enquirer as a high school guy. Ended up doing some colleges, and then I started filling in on the Bengals beat. And
what years were those?
Those were 85 to 92. I was here for the Super Bowl team, Ickey Woods and all that, and Tim McGee. I was here for Mike Shula's 1 year. I left in the middle of that year to go to Milwaukee. They had noticed my work and wanted me to cover the Packers and Marquette basketball. So. But yeah, I was in Cincinnati from 95 or 85 to 92. Let me see who some of the guys I covered. Chip Jones, basketball guy. Chris Mack. Chris Mack was one of my players of the year. Coach at Louisville now. Carlos Snow, Vinnie Clark, some of the Ohio State guys. Jay Cook led Purcell Marion to a title. So, I was the high school guy, and I covered Herb Street because they used to play Princeton in big high school games, and Princeton always had some good teams too back then. Carlton Gray went to UCLA, went to play in the National Football League with Seattle. He was a good kid, Benjamin Hook's grandson. So yeah, it was a good time in Cincinnati. Great time. We covered all of the schools. We didn't just cover the GCL when I was on the beat. We covered everybody. I was to go out to, all the schools, Northwest, Forest Park. I guess there's no Forest Park anymore, but
no, there's no Forest Park anymore. There's
Winton Woods now. Yeah. So,
and I tell you, Winton Woods is good.
That's where I learned my way around the city. I would go all the way out east and out west, and Coach Hockman out of Harrison, ended up, his son ended up being one of the coaches down here in Georgia in my neighborhood. And then he had his son, Ryan, that played at Kentucky. So, but no, I had a great time in Cincinnati.
So what led you to go in the sports writing? I mean, you go to law school, and that's not the direction most people want to take. But you went to law school, right? So
yeah.
Then you become a sports writer?
Well, I was already a sports writer, and actually, I went to the Enquirer, went down to part-time so I could do my studies in law school. Then when I got out, I kept doing both at the same time back then for a while. And then my editor in Milwaukee said, hey, I had an offer from one of the firms, and she's like, yeah, fine. you covered the NBA back then. It was prior internet. So, when the season was over, you were off. So I would go to the law firm from, November to, whenever the NBA season started. The Bucks weren't in the playoffs back then. so their season would be over around, May or March. And so from March to October, I was at the law firm and taking, if I needed to write, I could write from my law firm. And if I need to go to court, I can go to court. They knew where I was. And so I was doing both for a while. But I eventually had to pick, and I moved to Atlanta, was practicing law. And they knew I was here because I had covered the Olympics in Sydney and been covering Super Bowls and stuff already. And they're like, hey, we got a spot. Or are you interested? And so I was like, so I decided that, I wanted to do something that I love to do, covering sports. And so ever since 2003, I haven't been practicing any law. I've been more teaching it, teaching communications law and entertainment law. I taught that at Clark Atlanta for a while. And Georgia came and snapped me up out of there. And I've been teaching up there for the last 6 years. So,
right. So you've been in the business for
what I want to do.
Yeah. You've been in the business for 17 years. Holy mackerel! That's a long time, Darryl.
Well, now if you add it up, it's like 30. 30 altogether.
It's 30?
17 in Atlanta. Yeah, 17 in Atlanta.
13 in Atlanta. So what's been the biggest change in Atlanta? I know Atlanta's going through some problems right now, especially closing the game, and we're going to get to that. But what's been the biggest change since you've gone there? I mean, you've gone through 2 stadiums, and their facilities is not anywhere near downtown. I think it's about an hour out. So it's a haul to get to their practice facility.
Yeah, it's 55 miles out. The biggest change for me, John, the team, I started with Jim Moore and Michael Vick. Okay, they were hot. It was, all of a sudden, the Falcons were hot. The stadium was full, after years of being founded in 66, now you're up to 90, you're up to 2002, and they're still having blackouts down here because the people couldn't decide if they were going to the games or not. So Michael Vick sold out the Georgia Dome. And there was no more blackouts. And they were rolling quite along pretty good. Went to the NFC Championship game, and then Jim Moore went haywire. They had to get Petrino, and then the federal dogfighting case comes in. So we won a bunch of awards for our coverage there. Actually, the sports and the law actually worked out for me right there. The newsroom, the editors were like, they didn't have any problems with sending me to the courthouse. So for that period, that one season, I was more legal reporter than a sports reporter. So that worked.
So that law degree did come in handy, right?
Yes,
so
it did. Yes, it did.
It did come in handy. Yeah, it's all about the education.
Yeah, my kind lab professor, Bert Lockwood at the University of Cincinnati, he put me in touch with a federal expert at the University of Richmond, since the case was in Richmond. So I had an expert, steering our coverage through the whole maze there. So that was.
So what award did you win on that coverage?
We won Associated Press sports editor. That's the biggest sports award you can get. We could have went for, the Pulitzer Committee was looking for it, but our paper was going through downsizing at the time and didn't submit that to the committee.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, but congratulations anyway.
But yeah, thanks. And
so with all that being changed, I mean, Atlanta's it's changed, especially with like I said, the new stadiums. But now with COVID's kind of really taken everything for a loop. I know I talked to you earlier and you had a mask on, thank God. So, hey, he does wear his mask, people. So I just want everybody to know he wears his mask. So tell me, how is it right now this season with no fans in the stadium? I mean, I know all you media guys are hunkered together, but there's no fans. And how tough is that for the players?
Yeah, they've gotten used to it. They had 6,000 at the fourth game and 7,000 last week. which is nothing. You can't really hear them. There's spots across the stadium. So the players have seemed to be adapting to it. They seem to know where the cameras are when they get a turnover. So
they all run the one camera. They all run the one camera.
Which, I know Chuck Noll wouldn't have put up with that, or Bill Cowher wouldn't have put up with that back in the day. But
no.
But
we tried to run away from the cameras.
right.
It's like I'm out of here. So tell me what's going on with Atlanta's team right now. They can't seem to close a game right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think, John, it's a product of the Super Bowl collapse. The psyche of the team, they haven't fixed that problem on closing out games since they had the monumental collapse in Houston. And so they played like it didn't happen. They kept going about their business. And in late game situations, they always seem to find a way not to make the play. And
because they're coming. I mean, they're losing some really big leads, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I can understand, maybe a touchdown, 2 touchdowns, but we're talking, over 21 points?
Yeah, Dallas, they're up 20-0, and 16 in the fourth quarter, 15 in the fourth quarter. Bears with no firepower. We saw what they had last night. Playing the Rams, they blew a 16-point lead to the Bears. And Nick Foles, they made Nick Foles look like Johnny Unitas.
But it's always that backup quarterback. And I tell people, I didn't never worry about the starter because we knew what the starter had. We always used to worry about that backup. When that backup came in, that backup used to kick our ass. I mean, just like, are you serious? Like, where'd this guy come from? And he's sitting on the bench.
Right.
That's the craziest thing. So Foles comes in and he brings them back. And I know that had to be demoralizing to those guys. So, I mean, how's the locker room? I mean, how are they taking it?
Yeah, well, one of the COVID things, John, we're not in the locker room anymore. Everything's online. And so, but some of the guys are, forthright. Gurley has been out of shape. He's a hot mess. I'm not expecting anything from him this week because they gave him the game to win and he didn't win it.
I felt bad for him because he tried to stay out of him.
That's the plan against your instincts.
Yeah.
And so
you could see him stop, and all of a sudden he just like, I can't go in there. And as soon as he laid down, he was in the end zone. I mean, he was right on the goal line. So it was tough for him. But like you said, it's an instinct for a running back to go score, and that had to be hard.
Right.
But what is he saying? Was he saying anything this week?
Yeah, he talked to him after the game, and he was like, well, it's starting to get in your head. It's starting to be mental. You can't say nothing to your opponent and you can't say nothing to your teammate about it, but we're all thinking the same thing. Oh, no, here we go again. Same old Atlanta Falcons. And, that's what everybody's saying. So for him to just come out and start talking about it, they're talking about it too. So,
well, I think that's something that they need to be talking about. And as long as they can get it out there, it's not an elephant in the room. And so many teams don't say anything. And then all of a sudden it happens again and everybody goes, oh, shit, here we go. The same thing week after week. That was like that in Cincinnati. We start out great, and all of a sudden, 1 or 2 things happen. You're going to get punched in the mouth. It's just a matter of, what do you do when you get punched in the mouth? Do you, do you get up and fight back, or do you just, lay down? And they're pretty much laying down, just like all the other teams that get punched in the mouth, That was one of Cowher's biggest thing. He was like, the game's not played until somebody gets punched in the mouth.
Right.
And then we'll see. We'll see, what kind of reaction we get from you. But I hope they can get it together. But it's still going to be a long season for them. And they play this Thursday, right?
Yes, up in Carolina this Thursday, John. And, one of the main things is that, if you don't build a line, and we're talking on your podcast here, so I'm not preaching to the choir, you got to run the ball when they know you are running the ball. You got to run the clock. But they got cute. They started trying to throw it, can't pull it off, and, stopping the clock when you're trying to run the clock down. So they haven't fixed the structural problem of their team. And, all of that started with the Super Bowl slide.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have, Darryl, you definitely have to run that ball because that's how you control the clock. You don't control the clock by throwing the ball. You've got to start grinding, and you got to start wearing those guys out. And if those guys don't get wore out, all of a sudden you're off the field, and now the other offense is on, and it just depends on how far you got too.
Yeah.
You know, you need to go a good couple drives and take some of that time off the clock. But it's always intrigued me when you've got – and Atlanta to me is a good team, but they're just missing that one element as far as finishing the game.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's always the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the first two parts right, but they can't get that last part right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be definitely a long season. But, hey, Darryl, let's talk about some players that, as far as like characters that you've been associated with. And I'll give you one guy. You remember Jumpy Gathers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jumpy Gathers had this hook move.
Redskins.
And he played with the Redskins, but then he comes to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And I knew Jumpy, and we had talked before the game. And I said, dude, I got something for you. If you try that hook move on me. He goes, oh, no, you don't have anything for me. I was like, dude, I got something for you. And so I'm thinking about wrestling, and I wrestled in high school. Mm-hmm. And anytime somebody would get that move, I would just take a step back and almost drop. And I did that on him and almost pulled his shoulder out of his socket. Uh-huh. And I told him, I said, the next time you do that move, I'm gonna pull your shoulder out of your socket. And you know what? After that, I was good with him. He didn't try that move again because he knew I was serious. I pulled his. I mean, I had it, and I could see him. He went, oh, and I was like, I let it go, and I told him, I was like, listen, next time I'm gonna pull it right out of that socket, dude. But he was always somebody. I mean, Jumpy always talked to you on the field, and I'm like, dude, I'm not talking to you.
Right.
I never talked to anybody on the field. I'm like, dude, I barely talk to somebody off the field. I'm not going to talk to you when I'm playing. But he always wanted to have a conversation. Uh-huh. But I know you've seen some guys that were kind of boisterous and always let's get real. They always want to talk shit.
Right.
So tell me some of the guys that you've come across, especially down in Atlanta.
Yeah, well, from my NFC North days, John Randall was the one. John Randall was he was always getting after the Packers. And then later on, Warren Sapp, him and Favre would be just carrying on conversations during the whole play. And they betting each other and then they'd go pay up after the game and so forth, bro. So those were the two that I got to see up close. And in Atlanta, John Abraham was my favorite. He didn't like the media, but he liked me for some reason. So we got along. But man, he went so hard. And he wasn't a talker though. He didn't do a lot of talking, but he talked with his play more than anything. But yeah, Abraham was pretty good. A good talker. Sean Weatherspoon was pretty exciting talker. He started doing the spoon stuff way before everybody else. And that was
but he don't get the credit for it. They give it to the kid at the Cowboys.
Cowboys gets the credit for it, yeah. But yeah, Weatherspoon was hilarious. My favorite one, another one that a lot of people don't know about was the center, Todd McClure. They called him the Mud Duck, and he was a technician. He wasn't the biggest center, but you see him getting beat by the big nose tackles and stuff. So. He was just like a little duck wallowing around in the mud, so they call him Mud Duck.
They call him Mud Duck?
Yeah. So he was one of my favorites down here.
So was there any person that wouldn't talk to you that you did when you came in that locker room? It was like, this guy's not gonna talk to me.
Oh yeah. And people know who he is too. Croy Bierman. He was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. He married Kim Zolciak. And so,
really?
So yeah, I was at the thing where they met. He was a nice guy until he got on the reality show and started getting his hair permed and looking all, TV-ish, like
looking all pretty.
I'm like, dude, you from Montana? And so I wrote a story. I said, well, Croy Bierman, he was moving into the starting lineup. I was like, Croy Bierman's a reality star. Now he wants to be a reality football star. And so he didn't like that too much. And after that, he didn't talk to me.
But I think it's got to be hard for a beat writer, because a beat writer sees those guys every day. And what I used to love about the beat writers, they always, to me, they always told the truth, because they saw everybody every day.
Mm-hmm.
And especially during the games, they knew what was going on with that player.
Mm-hmm.
And they would go to practice, and I mean, there's a correlation between practice and the game. But tell me about you going to all these practices. I mean, I think you get to see different things. I mean, I'm not asking you to tell trade secrets, but I'm just saying you could tell the mood of the team.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's part of the job, and part of being there every day for practice is to, you see the warm-ups, you see the drop passes, you see, the 7-on-7 drills. I always watch the one-on-ones, and especially in training camp leading up to the first couple of weeks in camp. You kind of see the installs of the plays, what they're going to try to do that week. We don't report strategy, but
right.
If there are changes in personnel, you can report that. You do get to see the mood of the team, and depending on how cool the coach is, they'll come over and tell you stuff on the field that, they want you to know to make sure you are, correct and accurate. And I had that kind of relationship with Coach Smith, because a lot of people weren't covering the team after the dogfighting trial, and so I'd be the only one at practice sometimes.
Are you kidding me?
They
wouldn't go to practice?
Well, there was no interest in the team. I mean, the fans left for a minute. And then, when Matt came back, Petrino, it was so bad, the planes were flying over the practice field. PETA was boycotting. The sponsors were pulling out of the suites. It was, they had to start over from ground zero as far as, filling their suites back up and getting the people back in the stands.
So how's it now with, I guess it would be a different thing, but I'm just saying, how's the city vibing right now with Atlanta losing?
The city's kind of down on the Falcons right now. They, they got the new sparkling new stadium, $1.5 billion stadium. And
what was wrong with the old stadium?
The owner's suite was near the bathroom, and he had to smell sewage. So
you got to be kidding me, right?
So he wanted a new stadium.
Are you kidding me?
That's the story. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Cincinnati could use a indoor stadium. Pittsburgh could use an indoor stadium. All these cold weather teams can use a indoor stadium, and they're tripping over a bathroom.
Yeah, he liked Jerry's. Jerry could drive under the Jerry World and go right to his own elevator and go up to his box. So he.
So is that the way the new stadium is now?
Yeah, he can do that. He drives straight to his elevator and goes straight to his box, and
that's when you got way too much money. You got way too much money, dude. You worried about a bathroom in your own parking spot?
Yeah.
I mean, really? So, have you seen the other stadiums? I mean, you look at Vegas has got a great stadium, but they got no parking.
Yeah, I've been to I saw where they would. I've been out to both LA and Vegas, but I haven't. They weren't completed when I was out there. But Vegas, nobody's gonna drive there anyway. You're gonna fly in and catch an Uber over to the stadium or Uber to the casino.
Right.
The locals. I don't think they're gonna be going to the games that much. It costs too much. But yeah,
I think they're gonna make some money though. They'll make some money in Vegas. But did you see last night? The Monday night game with the Bears. I mean, that stadium, somebody was telling me that stadium is 100 feet down under the ground because of the airplanes.
Right.
They fly over. They would have literally flew through the stadium. But it's an enclosed stadium, but they call it an indoor-outdoor stadium.
Yeah, it's a breeze through it.
Right.
I didn't see the top when I was out there. The year the Rams went to the Super Bowl, I stayed out in LA for a week because they were coming to Atlanta. And that stadium was halfway built, and it was down. It's in Inglewood, right outside of Inglewood.
Yeah, you can see the Forum, right? When
Yeah,
they showed
close to the Forum.
yeah, right to the Forum. So I know exactly where that is. But I tell you what, they didn't pay a lot of money for that land. They got that land for cheap.
Yeah,
cheap.
Wasn't that the old horse racing track? I think that was the old.
But now it's beautiful though. The whole surrounding is beautiful. What other stadiums that are up there? I mean, the Cowboys, they did spend a lot of money. You remember when the Cowboys first got their stadium? They the TV was too low.
Too low, yeah.
Yeah, and they had to move it back up because the punters kept kicking it, and they would hit the TVs.
Yeah.
I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah, because you end up staring at the TV. I mean, my first 2 games there, I had to okay, forget about the TV. The game's going on down there, and then they got the cheerleaders over here dancing. I'm missing out.
But how big was that TV, though? I mean, that TV was huge.
It was huge. It went from the.
I mean, like lifelike.
Yeah, it went from the 20 to the 20. And it was I don't know how big, but I know it was long.
Yeah, and so you were fixated on the TV, not on the game.
Right.
At least you saw some good stuff, though. You saw everything on those TVs. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, it is outstanding place. I like Minnesota. Was up there for the Eagles-Pats Super Bowl. I don't like Lucas Oil Stadium. It's too far up, and it looks like a fire station. But yeah.
So, how many Super Bowls have you gone to?
Wow. It's I counted because they were asking me in class. It's like 18. Last year was the 18th one. Yeah.
I've seen you at a few Super Bowls.
Yeah,
not at the games, but at the parties.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's part of the Super Bowl. That's part of the Super Bowl. But yeah, these books right here, those are all Super Bowl programs. I've written stories in all of those. So yeah, I usually write for the Super Bowl program. My first one was 95, and that was San Francisco and San Diego. And I didn't go.
No, that was 94.
94.
So you wrote one when I went to the Super Bowl in 95?
What year is that? Steelers? What's the Steelers?
Steelers and Cowboys. And
Cowboys.
Played in Phoenix.
We didn't go. I didn't go that year. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't go that year.
Because we had just missed. We had just missed going to the Super Bowl because we lost to San Diego. And we shouldn't have lost.
Right, yeah, I was at that game, the Blitzburg game, when Tim McKyer decides to leave Martin alone. I don't want to bring up bad memories. Yeah.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I don't. Like I said, I told you before, we're not trying to go negative. We're not trying to go negative.
Yeah, we want to bring down.
Oh God, that was so bad. That was so bad. But we never should have been offensively. We should never have been in that situation, though. So I'll take responsibility for that too.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on for 1 second. I've got to do something for a friend of mine's, John Bell.
Okay.
Hey, listen, if you want to get a great cigar, I've got a place for you. It's called Bell's House Tobacco. Hey, visit my friend John Bell, and today's cigar of the week is a hand roll. Now, you got to be pretty special to go to Bell's and get this. So, but he's got other cigars that I'm pretty sure you will enjoy. So make sure you go to Bell's House Tobacco and tell them you saw me on this podcast or heard me on this podcast, and I'm pretty sure he'll direct you to a great cigar. And you never know. You might see me there smoking. So if I am, please don't tell my wife. So go to Bell's House Tobacco, and on the screen is all his information, where he is, his phone number, his email. Hey, please stop by Bell's House Tobacco and check out a great cigar. Okay, so I got to do one for my boy. So he always hooks me up. I tell you what, this cigar right here, I'm smoking this after I get done with you. I'm going to smoke my cigar. This is a hand roll. I remember you called me one time, and you're like, "So what do you drink with this cigar?" And I was telling you, and he was like, I think you had I want to say it was a Monte Cristo white cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you to drink some scotch.
Yeah.
And I told you what scotch to drink it with.
Yeah.
And you know where I learned all that stuff from was John Bell.
Right.
So,
and it was fabulous. I told the wife, I was like, yeah, John gave this is his recommendation. And she was like, yeah, that's I told her this is good stuff. And she's like, I was like, yeah, I can't get his all the time, but when I can, I can get this old man scotch and do it up. And yeah, I enjoyed stopping by when I was in Cincinnati
So does Atlanta play Cincinnati this year? Atlanta play Cincinnati this year?
No.
Schedule?
They're playing the NFC North and the NFC East.
Oh, okay. But make sure when you do come in town, we'll get together for a cigar. I'll take you over to Bell's and we'll have one, because right now that you can only get 4 people in the private room, but we'll hopefully, when all this is over and everybody's back to normal, we'll go over there and smoke one. Okay. Definitely on a Saturday. I know when you do come in, you get a little busy because you got to catch up, because you went to UC, and I know you're always trying to catch up with your fraternity brothers. So I know how that goes. But hey, so take me back to when you first started writing for the writing sports. Did you see yourself having a career as a sports writer?
No, I didn't, John. I was just at Howard writing for the student paper, because we got paid $9 an article or something. So, I needed some money, so I was writing a whole lot. And at the end of that year, the head of the journalism department was like, who's this Ledbetter kid? And so from that point on, I won freshman writer of the year or whatever. And he's like, we got to get you an internship next year. And this is Dr. Lawrence Ian Cogwa. And so, next year I ended up as a sophomore intern at the Newport News Daily Press in Virginia. And stayed on Hampton's campus, did some work at the Washington Afro-American, and I was the Fritz Pollard NFL Scholarship Award winner.
Oh, nice.
Back then. So from there, I had pretty good clips, and then went to Greensboro, North Carolina as a junior. And then my senior year was Cleveland, New York Times, and I'm from Cleveland. I took the Cleveland Plain Dealer one over New York Times. But I wanted to get into sports, and Charlotte came and offered me a high school job covering sports. So at that point, I kind of realized that newspaper reporters didn't make that much, and all my other Howard friends, which one of them is running for vice president right now, they were all going to law school and stuff. And so I started looking into that, and started studying for the LSAT, and did pretty good on that, and ended up getting into Cincinnati, South Carolina, and Howard. I didn't get into Duke, but so 3 out of the 4 wasn't bad. So I ended up staying in Cincinnati and going to College of Law over there in Clifton.
Right. So through the podcast, we do a segment called First Down. And I know your first down is going to be a little different, but tell me the first NFL story you wrote.
Oh, it was I was in Charlotte, and I was a high school reporter, but the Cleveland Browns were good this year, 1985. Ernest Biner and Kevin Mack both ran for 1,000 yards. And so Biner's from, he went to East Carolina, and Mack went to Clemson, but he's from South Carolina.
Right.
Kings Mountain. One of them's from Kings Mountain. And so for the Carolinas, that was a good story. Hey, these 2 running backs leading the Browns to the playoffs. So I was home for Christmas, and we talked to the Browns PR, and I got to interview Mack and Biner and Coach Schottenheimer and, a couple of linemen. I always got to get the lineman credit. And so when I got back to Charlotte, we sat down and wrote the story with Helen Crawford and Gary Schwab. We walked I gave them everything I had. We put the story together. It ended up being a pretty good story. That was my first story, and that first time I realized I, wanted to cover pro football, and eventually started working my way towards that.
Okay, so let's go on the bad side. What was you would consider your worst story you ever did?
Yeah, that.
And we're always critical of ourselves. It's like, what, if I go back, I could have did that a lot better.
Oh yeah, no question about it. I was actually a state tournament story in Dayton. And I wished my buddy Chick Ludwig helped me out there. I got there late. I was actually missed half of the game, and that was very unprofessional at the time, and so that was kind of.
You grew up a little bit, huh?
But yeah, we always took care of each other. Somebody always took, somebody else had missed something, I'd take care of them, but that was probably a low point for me. But I didn't tell a lot of people about that.
No, we all have low points, believe me. I've got a few low points in my career too that I would want to take back, especially giving up a sack here or there or missing a block. So, but I can only imagine, when it comes to reporting, what that situation is. So now we're going to do the next segment. The next segment is called Highlights. So who stood out this week for you in the NFL?
I've been enamored with Kyler Murray because once they played out, we played him out in Arizona last year, and I was like, this might work. The little small quarterback thing might be a thing. And so, the Dallas game on Monday night last week, and I couldn't wait till Sunday night when they flexed it to Sunday. I was like, I'm going to get to see this again. And so, man, him and Buda Baker, I want to see as much of that as I can. Really? Those are my two guys right now. I think Buda's going to be, I hope he remembers his name in a couple of years. He's running up there hitting people. I hope he's not like, he reminds me of Bob Sanders. Bob just hit people so hard, he kept getting himself hurt. So, Buda Baker and Kyler Murray are my two guys right now. I got to see Arizona every chance I get right now.
Right. So how bad you think Dallas is right now? Because they've, bad situation with Prescott, and now Andy Dalton goes out with a concussion, and nobody on the team gets mad. How crazy is that when the coach goes, nobody got mad?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
That's insane for especially, the era of football that, we grew up in and to see, I see when, these kids now, it's about their brand and, they got too much NBA in them where it's about their shoe and, you can't even get a team to wear the same shoe anymore, be unified about one thing. It's like, I hate that when I see a basketball team with 5 different shoes on. But, same thing with Dallas. They're not worried about Andy Dalton or that, and then some of that's coaching. They got to do team building. Here the coach is trying to make them into the brotherhood and, fight for each other. Because the best teams are the player-led teams. And, learned that under Mike Holmgren. And, Reggie White led the defense and Brett Favre led the offense. And Brett and Frank Winters, the center. What they said was going down, that's what went down. If Reggie said we not listening to rap music on Friday, it's Christian music Friday. Hey, guess what? They was listening to Christian music on Friday. And so
yes, they were.
So the good teams have players that run the team. The coach is kind of managing it. And if the coaches, they got to manage it through the players. And so if you got a bunch of 11 guys out for themselves, then they're not going over to help out the quarterback because they're just kind of like, he'll get over it. And so
that was sad to see because, Andy Dalton's a good guy, but you could tell where Dallas's head is right now, where the whole team is. I mean, especially when the coach comes out and says nobody got pissed off that they knocked our quarterback out. I mean, I'd have been pissed off. I don't care who he is.
Right.
I mean, that's a teammate. That's a teammate, and we care about our teammates, and we're gonna get pissed off. We're gonna go out there, we're gonna hit somebody. So,
Yeah.
but I was sad to see. It was really sad to see. Anybody else stands out as far as making a big jump?
Big jump. Well, not so much a big jump, but a continuation. Derrick Henry. You see these kids, and in my case, see him in the SEC and come up through the ranks and see him still running over folks. That's quite amazing. I mean, it's one stat. I just heard this he was on the radio and on my way home. He ran for 4,000 yards and 55 touchdowns his senior year in high school. He's averaging like 300 yards a game. So
he was the number one running back.
Number one back that year. Yeah. So
Derrick Henry was crazy.
Yeah, enjoyed watching him. DK Metcalf. DK.
Dude, how sweet was that? How sweet was that when Metcalf ran that DB down?
That was sweet. That was sweet. That was my boy Buddha, but it was sweet.
Yeah.
That was Buddha.
He tracked him down. So, I mean, that's, he probably got a lot of ribbon on that one. In the locker room, he's going to get ribbon all week for getting caught by a receiver. Yeah. But I tell you what, Metcalf, he's no slow guy. Now, he's got some wheels on him. He's got some wheels on him. What do you think about Brady right now? How good he's doing?
Well, see, I've been telling everybody Tampa Bay's a good team. They always fought the Falcons hard. Their front seven you can't block them. And so now the back guys, Carlton, White, and those cornerbacks are growing up. So now nothing's open. And they got linemen backing up the front seven. One of them is my little cousin Jeremiah Ledbetter. He's back and forth between the practice squad and the main roster. He backs up Sue. So I mean, they got Sue, Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett, and Vita Vea when he's healthy. So you can't really block that. And a lot of people don't know who Levante David is. He's only the best linebacker that anybody knows about. And so now he's free to go just run and hunt. And I just like, and then they got Devin White from LSU playing alongside David. And so he could come off the edge too and rush. So I know that they just forget the Falcons all they had, last year. They came up here and beat them. And then down there, they had them beat, but Jameis threw the pick six in overtime. And so, you get rid of a guy throwing 30 picks a game, all of a sudden, you're a lot better.
You're a whole lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing some really good ball. I know when Brady went there, and everybody was saying, they're just going to be average. And I was like, dude, I mean, their defense is really underrated. Like you said, I like their defense, and I think they just needed a couple pieces, and they've got tight ends. They always had a receiver. Now they got some young receivers that are coming up. So they, you never know what's going to happen with them. Their thing is they just got to stay healthy doing that run. If they can stay healthy doing that run, I think they got a shot of winning it all. And how about this? Brady wins the Super Bowl year 20. And how crazy would that be?
Yeah,
that would be crazy.
Yeah, I've covered I think I covered all but one of those, and it's just it's the later ones are a little bit more treasured than the earlier ones. I think they were cheating against the Rams. And I was like, how do they know to play? And then that was the Spygate one. So, but yeah, the Falcon one, they didn't cheat on that one. And then the Seattle one, they gave them that one. The Giants, I saw their losses. The Giants, the helmet catch one, and then the Philly special one, they got beat in those. So it's just remarkable that this guy we don't write about this enough. He was a 6th-round pick. He's supposed to be a bum. He ran the worst 40 time at the combine ever. But they can't measure your heart and how hard you're going to work. And so,
I think that's the biggest thing for Brady. I mean, nobody knew how big his heart was. Right. And like you said, I mean, Pittsburgh used to love the late-round picks because I was late-round pick. Merle Hodge was late-round pick. And like you said, I mean, nobody can see what you got in that heart. And that brings me to the Steelers. So what do you think about the Steelers play right now? Even though they did lose that great young middle linebacker. from Michigan. Oh, that broke my
Oh
heart.
yeah, Devin Bush.
yeah.
Devin Bush. Yeah, I'm very impressed with Cam Hayward. He went to high school here with my daughter at Whitfield Academy. Then he went out to Peachtree Ridge. So it was fun to see him grow up. Knowing who his dad was and so forth. So good for him. So to see Ben come back and put it together. And I thought last year Coach Mike could have been a Coach of the Year candidate, even with the 8-8 record, because he kept that team playing with, the third and fourth quarterback. And so I was like, man, if they get healthy and get Big Ben back, I didn't like Connor as the main back, but, they'll figure that out. And then TJ Watt, here's a guy, the Falcons passed on him because he was too small. He didn't fit their scheme. And so they picked the kid, Tack McKinley, who can't play. He can't stay healthy. His best year was 8 sacks as a spot rusher as a rookie, and they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. So they blew that. They blew the T.J. Watt move. So.
Right. So I guess they didn't look at his heart. We always go back to that heart. You didn't look at his heart like, dude, this guy can play.
But I'm like, hey, look at his brother. I'm like, I'm taking his little brother. I'm taking J.J. Watt's little brother.
Right, and now the Steelers have both brothers on the team. I mean, the little brother, both of them are little brothers to J.J. Watt, but now they got 2 little brothers on the same team.
Yeah, I'm going to take them. I'm going to take both of them. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Anybody else stands out as far as highlights this week?
I'm watching Buffalo because, Bob Lamont, super agent for the coaches, he told me, hey, that was the last time I was doing a coach story, so it must have been for 15. So I'm like, hey, who are the candidates? He's like, yes, you got to go get Sean McDermott. You got to go. I'm like, Sean McDermott, I don't even know who that is. I had to go look it up. But Zach Taylor was on the list too. So I was like, man, I don't even know where's Zach. Then I knew it was that National Brady. I knew who it was once I looked it up. So I want to see. So I want to see what Sean's going to do in Buffalo. Cincinnati's going to be fine. It's going to take a while to get the trenches up. You got your quarterback. That's key. You're going to have to turn over the D-line because they're getting old.
So I wanted to ask you about that. So Dunlop right now is throwing a lot of stuff out there. And
he wants out.
He wants out of Cincinnati. But the problem with Cincinnati is they're not big on trading people.
Nah.
So he's going to have a problem with that.
Yeah, I met
for next Tuesday.
Yeah, my Greg Noble, my old sports editor in Cincinnati, just retired from Channel 9. He's the one that would send me to Bengals practice to help Jack Brennan, with Tim Smith at first, Jack Brennan second. So I met the Browns, and then of course went to law school with Katie. And so I kind of know how that team works. And
they're not going to get rid of you, especially they're not going to make it somebody else better. And that's not going to happen.
No, they're not going to do it. And all he's got to go look at is you can go all the way back to Jason Buck holding out and the Carson Palmer situation. Just go on and play ball and earn your money.
Right, and it's got to be something really dramatic from when it's off season, like, I'm not coming back. I think that when Corey got traded, he really got a bad rap. But Corey was on a lot of losing teams, and that's what people don't understand. When you're on a lot of losing teams, you're trying to get in a better mindset as far as outside of football, but inside of football. And I blocked Corey Dillon, and you talking about a guy who would come to training camp, come in shape, stay in shape, and wanted to win. I mean, Corey just wanted to win, and I always thought he got a bad rap, especially in Cincinnati. But I love blocking for him because I'll tell you a funny story. So when he broke that rushing record, I'll never forget that he hit a linebacker. He came up in the hole, and a linebacker just smacked him. And all of a sudden, Corey's like lifting the guy up. He goes, "Now listen, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna be right back." And I'm listening to this, and I'm like, "What is he talking about?" I'm like, he's gonna be right back. So we run the same play. Over. Bow. He smashes him. And Corey comes back. He goes, I'm going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. And I'm like, wow. And by the end of the game, end of the game, the guy's doing like this.
He's tired of hitting Corey.
He didn't want to hit him. He was like, I'm not hitting him. He's like, and Corey just like ran by him.
Right,
and I'm thinking, this is crazy. But Corey would hit you. He didn't want to run out of bounds. He wanted to hit you. And he was that type of physical back. But just overall, I mean, great guy, though. I mean, just like I said, he got a bad rap in Cincinnati because, he wanted to win. And they were going through some stuff that there's no way they could win. No way they could win. I mean, to hit 278, that's a day. That's a rushing day right there.
Right. That's getting it done.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
So you're also doing a podcast. So I want to make sure I get that out because we'll make sure we let everybody know what your website is. So tell me about your podcast you're doing.
We are up to 226 episodes of the Bowtie Chronicles podcast. Everything you need to know about the Atlanta Falcons. And we on Mondays wrap up the Sunday game, kind of let it simmer down a little bit, and then just kind of take a long look at what just happened, which has been delightful this year. It's like, okay, they're making history, y'all. They're making history. And so then tomorrow, we do it on Wednesday to preview to get everybody ready for the upcoming opponent. So, I'll drop that on Wednesday mornings at 8. We look ahead. So we'll be, doing.
So Carolina. Is that you, or is that any other special guest on there, or?
I bring in the Falcons from my interviews at work. I might bring in a reporter from the other city, the other coach, Matt Rule. If I like them, I'll bring them in. That's some good stuff. We'll bring you in. I miss some of my old guys, like Roddy White would say anything. So I might just call him up out of clear blue. We have him on. But we try to entertain and give them the information too. But it's more information. But I had Brian Cox on this summer. He was the D-line coach with the Falcons when they went to the Super Bowl. He got Vic Beasley to get 15.5 sacks, and then they fired him. I'm like, he's the only one that could get him to play, and he wants to get back in. He don't know if he's, he don't want to use blackballed as a word, but, he hadn't got a job. His phone hasn't rang. And, Brian was a heck of a player, and I thought he was a heck of a coach. Maybe he needs to change his coaching style for the newer kids, but I thought Tennessee should have brought him in to help him with Beasley, if nothing else. So
right. So this will be our last segment, but tell me about how much has the game changed with the internet? I mean, because now if a player has got a dispute, all he does is go on Twitter or Facebook or whatever website and voice his opinion. And now it's out there. And just like Carlos Dunlap, he did something on Twitter, and then he tries to take it back.
Right.
Once
Once
it's out there, you can't take it back. But tell me, how does that change the game, and how does that change the way you report stuff? Because now it's already out there before you report it.
Yeah, a lot of times it is. But if I still want to talk to people live, I don't want to go by a Twitter report or Adam Schefter tweet, or I'm still gonna pick up the phone and call the Falcons and say, hey, did y'all make this trade, or this player get cut, or is this true? Can y'all confirm this? Because sometimes the teams nowadays, they don't want to. They used to come to the beat reporters with their information, but now they got their own websites. So, they got their own digital products to worry about. They own their own TV station now, the NFL Network.
Right.
So some teams want to go, they're all part 32 owners of the NFL Network. So they're competing with ESPN, which is paying them money to show their game. It just doesn't make sense anymore. The loop that is going on, So why you got a TV station when they're paying you billions of dollars to show your games, but you want to compete with them? But that's
you're kind of killing a golden goose right there.
Right. And so,
Yeah.
they want to. I guess if the team, wants a position out there, they can go to their own network without going through ESPN, or they can go to their website. Like the Falcons doing this vote and rise up thing. And I was like, well, hey, who can I talk to about this? Oh, no, we're going to put it on our website. I'm like, well, it ain't a story for me anymore if it's on your website. So I need some people to talk about what y'all voting initiatives are, or what your social justice initiatives are. And, we might want to send a photographer with you to shoot some pictures and write a story about it.
Right.
That whole part's changed. I got to follow. I don't have to follow, but I got somebody that does. It follows all the players' Twitter feeds and stuff. I got it, but I just can't do it. I got to, it's kind of, I'm old school. It's like if they want me to know, they told me about it, or, I go call them and ask them, but, we don't have the same access we used to. So if that's the best I'm going to get is following them on Twitter, then, everybody's got that. So I got to be able to do a little bit more than follow the guys on Twitter.
Right. It makes it real tough.
Yeah. Get as much access as we can. And, the teams don't like you to call guys at home, but if I get them during the access period, then I don't have to call them at home. But when you don't make them available, like now during the pandemic, the one kid was going to be making his first NFL start, and they weren't going to make him available till after a game. And so I wanted him before the game. So I called his agent, set it up through his agent. And, the team tried to block, and I tried to tell the agent, I was like, hey, the kid's a grown man. He don't have to, but you don't want to tick off your team and get in the doghouse. And so, you got to play that. You got to do that balance with the team and them trying to block your access when, we actually need more access in the digital era than less. So that's always the fight that we're in.
No, it makes it really tough, and but you do a great job. And I've talked to people about your stories, and they love reading it. So keep writing it, brother. Keep writing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So wait 1 second here. Hey, we want to make sure that you watch our podcast, the Offline Podcast. Subscribe to our podcast and join our team. Make sure if you got any questions or comments, go and visit theofflinepodcast.com. And we love the I love this podcast because I get a chance to talk to the people like you, Darryl, and just kind of go back, but also kind of think about what the future holds too. And it's all about, what the future holds, because right now we definitely have to learn from our past. And also want to make sure that everybody goes and votes on November 3rd. Please go vote. I've already voted. I'm not going to tell you I'm voted for, but go vote. Darryl, thanks so much for being on the podcast. And we'll make sure we send you a copy of this. And we'll also send you some clips so you can put them on your podcast too. Okay?
Yeah. Yes, I appreciate that. I love the link to it. Let my boys see the show and get them to follow the Offline Podcast. This is awesome, John. I'm glad to see you out there doing your thing.
Hey, I appreciate you. And I'll see you soon. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Make sure you get a good cigar, because I'm going to get one right now.
All right. I got to finish up some writing. I'll get one after the game Thursday night.
Sounds good. Hey, you be safe. Tell the family I said hello. Okay. And talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
All right, John. Take care and do the same.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.